Have you ever wondered why some people love crowded social events, while others prefer quiet solitude? Why do some feel energized after spending time with friends, while others need time alone to recharge? The answer lies deep within the brain's wiring. The fundamental differences between introverts and extroverts are not just personality traits, but actual neurological distinctions that shape the way they think, feel, and interact with the world. The science behind introversion and extroversion goes beyond simple preference. Research shows that brain activity, dopamine sensitivity, and even neural processing play a crucial role in determining whether someone thrives in social settings or prefers a more introspective life. Introverts' brains are more sensitive to stimulation, causing them to feel overwhelmed in highly social environments. Meanwhile, extroverts crave external input and actively seek out social interactions to feel energized. This fascinating difference can be traced to dopamine, the brain's reward chemical. Extroverts have a higher tolerance for dopamine, meaning they need more stimulation to feel pleasure and excitement. On the other hand, introverts are more sensitive to dopamine, which means too much social stimulation can leave them mentally drained. Their brains also rely more on acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter linked to deep thinking and focus, explaining their love for solitude and introspection. In this video, we'll explore the brain science behind introverts and extroverts, how their thought processes differ, and why understanding these differences can lead to better communication, relationships, and self-awareness. Our personalities aren't just shaped by experiences. They're deeply influenced by brain chemistry. At the heart of introversion and extroversion is how our brains process neurotransmitters, particularly dopamine and acetylcholine. These chemicals play a major role in how we experience pleasure, motivation, and social interactions. Dopamine, often called the reward chemical, is released when we experience excitement, novelty, or social interaction. Extroverts have a higher threshold for dopamine, meaning they need more external stimulation to feel rewarded. This is why extroverts actively seek out new experiences, social gatherings, and high-energy activities. Their brains crave the boost. On the other hand, introverts are more sensitive to dopamine, meaning too much stimulation can feel overwhelming rather than exciting. Instead of seeking dopamine surges, they rely more on acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter linked to deep thinking, focus, and inner reflection. This preference makes activities like reading, problem solving, and solo hobbies much more enjoyable for introverts. Because of these neurological differences, introverts and extroverts thrive in very different environments. While an extrovert might feel energized by a loud party, an introvert could feel mentally drained and prefer the calm of a quiet evening alone. Understanding these brain differences helps explain why introverts and extroverts behave so differently in social situations. The way introverts and extroverts process information is drastically different. This is due to the brain's reticular activating system, RAS, a network that regulates alertness and the way we filter information from our surroundings. For extroverts, the RAS is naturally less active, meaning they require more external stimulation to feel engaged. This leads to fast-paced thinking, quicker decision-making, and a preference for external validation. Extroverts thrive in dynamic environments, multitask efficiently, and often think out loud to process ideas. Introverts, however, have an overactive RAS, meaning they are more sensitive to incoming stimuli. Their brains prefer a slower, deeper thought process, which is why introverts tend to analyze situations carefully before responding. They are more comfortable with internal validation and tend to reflect on thoughts before voicing them. Because of these processing differences, introverts may struggle in fast-paced, high-energy discussions, while extroverts might become frustrated with slow, methodical conversations. Understanding this contrast helps explain why introverts and extroverts communicate so differently and how they best absorb information. One of the biggest differences between introverts and extroverts is how they manage energy. While both can enjoy socializing and alone time, their brains respond differently to each experience. Extroverts gain energy from social interactions. Their brains release dopamine when engaging in conversations, attending events, or being in stimulating environments. The more activity they have, the more energized they feel. This is why extroverts often seek out social gatherings after a long day. They feel recharged by engaging with others. Introverts, on the other hand, lose energy from social interactions, even if they enjoy them. Their brains process social stimulation more deeply, which can be mentally draining. Instead of dopamine, they rely more on acetylcholine, which helps with focus and reflection. To recharge, introverts need quiet, low-stimulation environments like reading, listening to music, or spending time alone. Because of these differences, introverts and extroverts may have conflicting social needs in relationships, workplaces, and friendships. Extroverts may feel lonely if they don't have enough interaction, while introverts may feel exhausted if they don't get enough alone time. Understanding how each personality type recharges best can help create better social balance in everyday life. Socializing is a fundamental part of human life, but introverts and extroverts approach it in very different ways. Their brains are wired uniquely, influencing how they interact with others and the type of social situations they prefer. Extroverts tend to thrive in group settings. Their brains have a higher dopamine reward response, meaning they feel excited and energized by social interactions. They enjoy small talk, large gatherings, and spontaneous plans, often feeling most alive when surrounded by people. Their conversations are typically fast-paced and filled with energy. Introverts, however, prefer deep, meaningful conversations over small talk. Their brains are more sensitive to dopamine, making excessive social interactions overwhelming. Instead, they engage better in one-on-one discussions or small groups, where they can connect on a deeper level. This is why introverts may seem quieter in large gatherings, but open up in personal conversations. Because of these differences, introverts and extroverts may have contrasting social expectations. An extrovert might love meeting new people, while an introvert may prefer deepening existing relationships. When both personalities understand each other's social styles, they can find a balance that allows both to feel comfortable and engaged in social settings. When faced with decisions, introverts and extroverts tend to follow different thought processes. This is largely influenced by how their brains handle risk, problem solving, and reflection. Extroverts lean toward fast decision-making, often relying on impulsivity and external feedback. Their brains have a more active dopamine system, which encourages them to take risks and seek immediate rewards. Because of this, extroverts tend to think on their feet, making decisions quickly without overanalyzing. This makes them adaptable in high-energy, spontaneous environments. Introverts, on the other hand, analyze and reflect before making a decision. Their brains have a more active prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for deep thinking and planning. This means they're more likely to consider long-term consequences, evaluate all options, and make carefully thought-out choices. While this helps them avoid impulsive mistakes, it can sometimes lead to overthinking and indecisiveness. This contrast in decision-making styles can lead to misunderstandings. Extroverts may view introverts as too slow to act, while introverts might see extroverts as reckless. However, when both work together, they can balance each other out. Extroverts push for action, while introverts ensure thoughtful choices. Introverts and extroverts excel in different work environments due to their unique approaches to productivity, collaboration, and focus. Understanding these differences can help maximize their strengths in the workplace. Extroverts thrive in team-oriented environments where collaboration and social interaction play a key role. They prefer open office spaces, brainstorming sessions, and frequent discussions to generate ideas. Their ability to multitask and work well under pressure makes them strong leaders and communicators. However, they may struggle with deep focus when working alone for extended periods. Introverts, on the other hand, perform best in quiet, structured settings that allow for deep concentration and independent work. They excel at tasks that require problem-solving, planning, and critical thinking. While they may not be as vocal in group discussions, their insights are often well thought out and valuable. However, they may find excessive social interaction draining, making it difficult to work in noisy or highly interactive environments. A successful workplace recognizes these differences and creates a balance. Extroverts bring energy and social connectivity, while introverts provide depth and strategic thinking. By leveraging both strengths, teams can foster an environment that encourages both collaboration and independent focus for maximum productivity. Stress affects everyone, but introverts and extroverts have very different ways of coping and recharging. Their unique brain wiring influences how they respond to challenges and what helps them regain energy. Extroverts tend to release stress through external activities. Socializing, exercising, or engaging in high-energy hobbies helps them feel refreshed. Their brains crave stimulation, so they recover best by staying active, whether through chatting with friends, attending events, or engaging in fun, group-based activities. Introverts, on the other hand, need solitude to recover from stress. Since their brains process information deeply, overwhelming situations can leave them feeling drained. They regain energy by spending time alone, engaging in quiet activities like reading, meditating, or listening to music. Without this downtime, introverts may experience burnout and emotional exhaustion. Because their coping styles are so different, misunderstandings can arise. An extrovert may assume an introvert is isolating themselves, while an introvert may feel overwhelmed by an extrovert's push for social engagement. Recognizing these differences allows both personality types to respect each other's needs, creating stronger relationships and better stress management strategies. Introverts and extroverts also differ in the way they build and nurture their relationships, whether with family, friends, or romantic partners. These differences stem from how they process emotions and interact socially. Extroverts tend to have a large social circle and enjoy forming connections quickly. They thrive on frequent communication and shared activities, often seeking out new people to meet. Their social lives are marked by vibrant, energetic interactions, and they often express their emotions openly. Extroverts excel in group settings where they feel connected to others, but they may find it difficult to maintain close, deep relationships without constant social engagement. Introverts, in contrast, tend to form deep, meaningful relationships with a smaller circle of people. They value quality over quantity, focusing on creating strong bonds with those they feel comfortable with. Introverts are often more reserved and private, sharing their thoughts and feelings with only a select few. They tend to form relationships that are emotionally rich, built on trust and shared values. While they may not enjoy large gatherings, introverts are capable of lasting and fulfilling connections. Understanding how both types form relationships can lead to more harmonious interactions. By respecting each other's preferences, introverts and extroverts can navigate relationships with greater empathy, balance, and mutual understanding. The introvert-extrovert spectrum is not a matter of one being better than the other, but rather a way of understanding how we are wired differently to interact with the world. Both personality types contribute to society and relationships in their own ways. Recognizing and respecting these differences is key to creating stronger personal and professional connections. Introverts bring depth, introspection, and thoughtful insights, while extroverts bring energy, creativity, and social connection. By embracing these contrasting qualities, we can create environments that cater to both personality types, allowing each to flourish in their own way. Understanding how our brains work allows us to better support ourselves and others. Whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, learning how to leverage your strengths while appreciating the strengths of others can create more harmonious and effective relationships. It's all about balance. So, the next time you find yourself in a social setting or at work, remember to celebrate the diversity of personalities around you. Introverts and extroverts each bring unique perspectives, and together, they make the world a richer place to live and work. Find what works for you and respect the approach of others to live and work in harmony.